This is Green Room interview number 4, I believe, and we have Stacy Rogers here. Stacy, I'm going to ask you some questions. First one, when did you start playing guitar and why?
It's a good question because I guess I started picking up a guitar when I was about that tall. I was fortunate to grow up in a house with a musical family. My grandparents played in a Western swing band, so you have to think Bob Wills, Texas Playboys. And so my grandfather played guitar, and he had some great ones. My grandmother played keyboards, and they didn't play clubs or bars or anything like that, but they had a circle of friends.
Yeah.
And so they would travel around to different houses, and they would play, and they would take me along with them. And they'd put me in a high chair with spoons, you know. So I would start, just kind of playing around with some. I was always around music. I would say I started getting serious about it around the age of 14. I would pick up guitars once in a while and play through my grandfather's amp, but it was this really clean sound. And then when I started junior high school, I bought the AC/DC Back in Black album, and that's what I wanted it to sound like.
Yeah.
Well, we went into Ben Jack's. My grandfather took me down there, and Terry was the guy's name at Ben Jack's. He had this little PV amp that had overdrive on it. It's the first time I'd ever heard an amp get that sound. And it's like my world totally changed, so I started playing a lot, and they bought me my first Les Paul copy guitar, and so I've really been playing ever since.
That's cool.
It's about 14, I would say, seriously.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was also told to ask
Long-winded answer.
Yeah. I've also been told to ask you what the first song you ever played was. It's supposed to be interesting.
Well, yes, it's interesting. Well, I guess I played some songs with my grandparents. They would show me some chords to some old songs. My first one I really started trying to learn on my own was probably off the Back in Black album.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and now the banjo. What's the whole story on that?
Yeah, so banjo, I have to thank Dave for that.
Yeah.
About 3.5 years ago or so, we were fortunate enough. Ben and Dave were doing the duo with Will and Abel, and at the time, Dan and I were just we didn't have anything going, so they invited us to sit in, and so it was going to be 3 guitars, right? It was going to be Dave on playing acoustic and Dan on electric, and since Dave was from North Carolina, I had a little bit more of a bluegrass type background. I thought, banjo would sound kind of good. It would complement rather than overcrowd the instruments that were already in the band on what we were doing. So I just started cold and just started learning it. First time I started to practice, my picks on backwards on my fingers, And but within a couple of practices, we started learning songs, and it came together pretty naturally, I think.
It's cool.
So about 3 years ago, that's how it started.
All right, cool. Well, that's all I got for you. Thank you very much.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Real good. Warren's Rec Room, Green Room interviews.
Peace out.
That's all.